Used Mazda cars enjoy a good reputation, and therefore their prices are quite high. They're known for only one drawback: excessive corrosion. Does this also apply to the second-generation CX-5 SUV? What else should you look out for? The car's design is as simple as its customer reception. And what's more, the platform is only a slightly modernized version of its predecessor, as is the entire car, which, from a technical perspective, is a facelift of the first generation, not a new car. The chassis is equipped with suspension based on McPherson struts and a multi-link rear axle. Adaptive dampers are not used, as with some competitors. Four-wheel drive is optional, operated by an electronically controlled multi-plate clutch. The steering is electrically assisted. In Europe, the car was equipped with 3 engines, although due to changes in model years, power outputs, and drivetrain variants, there were a total of 20 versions. Nevertheless, the base engine is a 2.0-liter, 4-cylinder, non-supercharged gasoline engine. In the first 2 years of production, it produced 160 horsepower, increasing to 165 horsepower in 2018. The petrol engine lineup was complemented by a 2.5-liter engine, also a 4-cylinder unit with no supercharger, always producing 194 horsepower. Both petrol engines from the 2023 model year are equipped with the Mazda M hybrid system, a mild hybrid system based on a 24-volt architecture. Additionally, the 2.0-liter unit with a manual transmission and the 2.5-liter unit with either gearbox feature a 2-cylinder shutdown system. The diesel engines are essentially a single unit with 3 power outputs: 150 horsepower, 175 horsepower, and 184 horsepower. From the beginning of production, 2 less powerful versions were offered. The 175 horsepower engine was available only in the first 2 years, and from 2018, the 184 horsepower version. The least powerful version was offered throughout the entire production run. Interestingly, the 2.2 Skyactiv-D diesel engine was criticized for its lack of an SCR system for reducing nitrogen oxides. It was also offered in the United States. Mazda, somewhat under pressure from other manufacturers, installed the SCR system in its Euro 6D temp-compliant engines, but not because it was technically required to do so. The Mazda CX-5 offered both front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, as well as manual and automatic transmissions. With a few exceptions, each engine was configured with both. Only the 160 horsepower petrol engine always had 4-wheel drive. Much depended on the model year. Which engine to choose? The Mazda CX-5 is a specific car in that it does not encourage very dynamic driving, so in practice, each drive variant is good, although, of course, the more powerful ones are more pleasant to drive. However, don't expect miracles from the most powerful 2.5-liter version. Despite its 194 horsepower, the engine performs like a modern 1.5-liter turbocharged engine. It's only in terms of flexibility that it surpasses them all, feeling perfectly at extremely low revs and never faltering all the way to the red line. Petrol engines don't burn large amounts of fuel, but they're also not as fuel efficient as smaller, supercharged models. With careful driving, you can get down to 7 to 9 liters per 100 kilometers in mixed use, while dynamic driving won't exceed 11 liters per 100 kilometers. The diesels are subjectively more dynamic, although the 150 horsepower variant doesn't differ significantly from the most powerful version. Smoothness, flexibility, quietness, harmony, and low fuel consumption, these are the hallmarks of Mazda's Skyactiv engines. However, the diesels don't consume significantly less fuel, an average of around 7 liters 100 kilometers. Typical faults. The petrol engines are carried over from the predecessor and have undergone very minor modifications, primarily to meet emission standards, including CO2, although Mazda hasn't had to do much here either. It's worth noting that all versions of the second-generation CX-5 meet at least the Euro 6 standard. Gasoline engines are very durable and rarely break down. They have a chain-driven timing belt which doesn't need to be changed even after long runs. Despite direct injection, the fuel system remains intact. A common problem with Skyactiv-G engines is ignition coil failure. An original coil costs around €600, while a replacement coil costs 2 to 3 times less. However, there are 4 of these components, so if you want to replace the entire set, the cost of the entire operation will be high. One of the changes dictated by environmental concerns is the electronically controlled thermostat, whose mechanism is prone to failure. Fortunately, it usually locks in the high-flow open position so the engine doesn't overheat, but it may not reach its full capacity. Unfortunately, these aren't cheap, as a new mechanism costs over €2,000, while used ones sell for around €400 to €700. The second-generation 2.2 Skyactiv-D diesel engines have been improved and no longer have problems with camshaft or crankshaft bearing seizure. Like the petrol engines, the diesels also feature a robust timing chain. Despite the low failure rate of these engines, it's important to remember that they aren't inexpensive to repair. If you're planning to buy a car with higher mileage, it's worth thoroughly inspecting it, or even opting for a petrol version instead. There are no surprises in the drive. Both automatic and manual transmissions are durable, and the four-wheel drive is trouble-free, although it's worth remembering to change the oil in all mechanisms, including the bevel gear, which can become noisy after a longer mileage with old oil. Servicing and repairing the suspension is straightforward. Both complete components and individual silent blocks are available for purchase as replacements. Overall, the suspension is durable. Much has been made of the poor corrosion resistance of Mazda's bodywork, but this isn't a problem in this particular car. The CX-5 may have thin, delicate paint, but even chipping doesn't cause a corrosive coating to form in those areas after a while. Of course, this doesn't guarantee good underbody corrosion protection, which is best done soon after purchase if you plan to keep the car for a long time. The suspension mounting points and subframes are most susceptible to rust. Interestingly, the power liftgate actuators are also susceptible to rust. Overall, this mechanism is quite unreliable. The folding mechanism for the exterior mirrors is also prone to malfunctions.